Hey, hey, everyone. It is Jen Hall here. Jen Zoe Hall. Actually, no, just kidding. This is Eli. And we literally just came out of the barn. Like, I drove down from Ocala. It's about a 4-hour drive. And then I like pulled in, changed my shoes, got in the barn, set up the camera for Free Coaching Friday, right? So we're here, a couple minutes late, but that's okay. We're here. And this is Eli. This is my friend Amy's horse. And he's got opinions. And like my friend votes, and he votes for what he wants to vote for sometimes, not necessarily what I want to vote for. And so the topic today is how do you get somebody to do, especially, and this actually really goes along for like kids. I mean, everybody, but really like kids and your team, like the people that you work with, your employees, for instance. So when I look at him, it's like he's smart. This horse is very clever. He is pretty talented physically. He's been rehabilitating some his hip a little bit, but at the same time, like if sometimes he just decides I don't want to. Doesn't that I don't want to. And with a dog and stuff, it's a little easier. And sometimes even with people, it can be about incentive. Just like give them a carrot or a pork chop, right? But horses, they want the proof. And this goes for people too, believe it or not, because we really want to know why. Like, why is it that you want me to go in a circle? So he will take it upon himself. And for those of you that are not familiar with the parts of my program, he is what we call a trace with a splash of Dante, and he's a bit of a challenger. He's not always a cheerleader. So when we talk about challengers, it can be where it's matching and mismatching. Traditionally, that's what it's called, matching and mismatching. But I like it. We kind of reframed it and recoined the term, whole thing to say, like, are you a cheerleader? Going, yeah, and let's go. Like Jesse Itzler calls them yes and friends. Like if I said something, like my friends that have known me for a long time, like we kind of go Jen be Jennin because like one of these things that we say is like what yes and he goes, you don't want these people, these friends, like I'm gonna go do this BHAG, have this great big crazy goal, right? But have you thought about like, the logistics? Have you thought who's going to mow the grass? Like when I got my place in South Florida, I couldn't tell anybody that weren't yes and friends. Like, yeah, I can't wait to see what the view from the top is, right? Or I can't wait to see what color you paint the kitchen. Like those, that's the kind of people you want that are in when you're in like this and intuitive and creative mode. Where you need the mismatchers or the challengers is when you're trying to price out the lawn service, right? Yeah, like, okay, we need lawn service, right? No doubt. But if you're thinking about all of those things like the logistics and all that challenger type of stuff, although relevant and important during the initiation phase and creative stage and even in the beginnings of the production stage, you're going to just put too many commas in the sentence. You're like, all right, the train can never actually get momentum and leave the station. Now, again, this guy, he is more of an introverted type horse, but, and I say but intentionally, he does have these little like solar flares. He called solar flares. So right now today, and I didn't even brush him. I legit like went up to him, threw his halter on, and came out here. Like nothing. And look at him looking at me like, what are we doing? Actually, he's not even really looking at me because he doesn't really freaking care. Because it's a beautiful Friday afternoon and he wants to just, sip on some Jameson while he watches golf. I don't know. Something that he wants to do. So in order for me to convince him to do what I want to do on a beautiful Friday afternoon. Hi, Amy. This is Amy's horse. I would move the camera if I had a cameraman, but she's sitting over here. She's like, that's okay. I don't want to be on camera anyhow. So when I think about what I want to play with him, I ask him questions. Like the power of questions is really profound when you're, especially look at it. I actually gave him some information and he turned his head and he's like, nah, I think I'd rather sip my Jameson and watch golf. All right, so we're sipping Jameson, right? See it? See it again? Could I be any more obvious that he has zero interest in what Jen has to say? If I was texting him, he would not see three little dots coming back to me, except maybe to say, hey, I'm in the middle of something, AKA sipping Jameson and watching golf. Can I get back to you later? Right? And I'm like, no, now is when you have me because later I'm going to be out at a nice dinner. So no, it is now or never. And he's like, well, then I'm good with never. So when you run, what do you do when you run into that conversation like that? Well, sometimes you do have to go, okay, take a beat, especially if they're introverts. Don't go in on an introvert when you already know they're they're solid. You won't get to them unless it's an absolute emergency, and even then you'll have to have rapport, right? So make sure that you are prepared when you're like, let's see. Now I didn't even okay, now you look at me. It took 3 times before it even like blink one eyelid my way. So I'm gonna have to actually come to him with some different information than what I normally would come to him with, which means I have to do what? Get creative. That's not hard for me to do. But those of you list people out there that are like, okay, this is we do this, and then we do this, and then we do this, and then we're supposed to do that. Like these guys will just be, they'll do just enough not to get fired, and we call it in the horse world, they'll do that little trot, which is great for us to ride, but we call it the chain gang trot. Like, I'm working on that chain, that's it. It's all you're going to get. So if I want some exuberance from him on my terms, because what this horse generally does, and some employees, anybody have kids like this, or people like this, or employees like this, or family like this, especially during the holidays, that like kind of so inappropriately timed show up with their solar flares and their little spicy ideas of, hey, you know what? Let's just call mom out at Thanksgiving that she's been smoking cigarettes in private. Like, let's do that. Like, that's what he does. He's like, I am gonna just like tell everybody some bomb dropping news right in the middle of Christmas. Okay, so now I let him die. That was very nice. Now, right there, you couldn't probably see it on the camera, but I saw it. I saw it way back in there. There. And there he just took a big breath in, but not out. In the back of his mind, he's like, uh-oh, there's that crazy blonde again. Here she goes with her lime jello rocket ship to the sun ideas. She's fun to listen to, but when she asks me to take action, she better get her shit together before she actually wants me to put any aligned energy into it. Yes, sir. Got you. Now, when you actually come to your introverted, challenging and friends, I know one over here is very much, you be prepared. Like, say, listen, don't just walk in like, oh my God, this is gonna be the greatest thing in the world, unless you just want them to sit back and get their popcorn. If you actually want some engagement, you need to say, listen, I've been thinking about this. This is, put things in an order in that list I was talking about that makes sense. Now I'm sitting here talking to you for him. It's these kind of guys you got to be really good at storytelling with. This goes for people too. Don't even look at him. I mix it up all the time. I call horses people all the time. Because to me, they're just individuals. I don't even see the horse. I just see like his energy. And what I see right now is low energy, kind of like meh, Danny DeVito off of Jumanji. Meh, right? So, but until I decide that I want to get my shit together and actually have a PLAN that he can relate to. Because, like, hit my crazy plan only works not when he's trying to watch, golf and sip on his Jameson. Are you a Jameson man? There, that's a little bit. I got an ear. I'll take it. Right. Now, one of the things I want to do with him is that I am changing every single thing I normally do with him. It'd be like, interestingly enough, our neural pathways are all linked together. And what, as Joe Dispenza says, when our brain, we fire together is wire together. So if I did the same routine, I took him over here and put him on the cross ties, and then I pick his feet, and then I do the thing, he's like, immediately he checks out. He goes into his subconscious. So I'm kind of mixing things up. And just luckily, I was late for the live today. Right. So now I have, okay, he just relaxed a little bit and he's blinking, but he still looks kind of bored to me. Now, I don't want to, if I bore him, he has enough Dante in him. And if you don't know which one of the personas are, I'm sure there's some kind of link in the comments. You can go figure out who Dante is. There's a quiz or something fun for you to engage with these horses at an even deeper level. Because he's not one of my 4 horses, but he is of the core of the 4 horses. And he's mostly introverted, but he's got that little spicy, he's got a little, he's been watching Tony Robbins. We'll just leave it at that. Watching Tony, right? So a lot of the times what we like to do is like, he likes to have his face played with and everything. So I'm going to shift everything. I'm just going to kind of, anytime I see him step into a pattern of him assuming that I'm going to do something, take a step to the left, I'm going to take a step to the right. So I'm just going to shake things up for him today and start interrupting patterns before they get big. You know, kill the monster when it's little. Crushing your head. Crush, crush. Remember that, kids in the hall? All right. Hi. There's a hello. Finally. Right? So, hi. So I'm going to ask him, how's that golf tournament? And then when I get exactly the same thing he gave me a second ago. And instead of like getting bigger, doing what I would quote unquote normally do, I'm going to come out of outside the nines, right? You guys know that little thing, little puzzle. So I'll wait. There's the lick and chew. I'm going to wait longer than I normally do for him to think about, like, hey, honey. Now, I didn't ask for that, but he gave me something. So I'd be like, all right, that's cool. He's like, he didn't hear the question. He's still thinking about, you know, I don't even know any golfers outside Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson. So there we are. There, that was better. Thank you. So I'm going to start just rewarding and I don't even like the word reward anymore. I want to think about reinforcing behavior, because the reward makes it makes us think about the fact that the reward is necessary. A reward is not necessary. In fact, sometimes it can work against you. But what I want to think about is reinforcement of behavior, because you can have negative reinforcement of behavior too. But we all it really, makes them think they're doing something right. And that little hop is, although cute. And this is an old habit too, you know. You sure you want the trot? I'm like, I am sure I want the trot. Yeah, you sure you still want the trot? Yep, I'm sure I still want the trot. And all he's doing is asking me if I'm certain this is the right way to go. Are you sure you want to go turn left at Albuquerque? And I'll be like, yep, I'm sure. Now that little hop is that precursor to what we were just working on. So it's like, now that I'll take. Before, when he gave me a little hop, I'm stay after him. There, he didn't do it, and I can let him have a little break. There, better. Thank you. Yeah, now see that? I see that you gotta practice for fronting too. That's my bad. Much nicer. And then into a nice soft trot. We'll come right back over here. Just let him go. Do circles. Much better. And I'm really okay that he's like, I'd rather just walk. Okay? I want more than a walk sometime. You know? That's nicer though. Like, oh, that's all you wanted? A lot of the times, that's all it is them going, oh, that's all you wanted? My goal is to get a half a circle. And even if I don't get it today, I got what I wanted. An engaged horse that doesn't give me lip. Because otherwise, they'll get you to where you're on eggshells instead of having an open conversation. We didn't get quite half a lap today, but I can come back in an hour and ask him again. Let's give him a chance to think about it, right? Look at his face now. What Jameson? I became interesting to him because I got into his head. I started thinking like he thinks instead of like I think. Which, if you're a boss, a parent, a human on the planet, to be able to adapt to the people in your life and step outside of your propensity to have to act the way you are hardwired to act is a skill and a talent that if we all had, we would have world peace, right? And if we want peace in your world, these skills and talents that I've learned through horses will really help you set yourself up to have deeper, stronger personal and professional relationships, getting more done and living a more fulfilled and beautiful life. Right. I'm going to play with him just a little bit more and we'll see what we got at the end of the day. But I'll sign off for now. Thanks for tuning in for Cookie Friday. generally, Fridays around the 1 o'clock hour. And remember, I'm Jen Zoe. Make sure you're subscribing to all my channels. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. And believe in yourself, you will change your life. It will change. Thank you.